Have you ever had a day where you were too weak to get out of bed or put on your shoes or even hold a spoon up to your mouth to eat a bowl of cereal? Well, for 700,000 people, including myself, we live that day almost every day. We have myasthenia gravis, or MG for short, and it affects every aspect of our lives. I've been living with it for over 2 years, although I was only diagnosed August 1st, 2021. Once I was diagnosed, I immediately did extensive research so I could find out what was happening to my body and why. MG is actually an autoimmune disease and it can affect many parts of the body. It's more prevalent in a specific group of people, and there are various ways to treat it. It's an incurable disease and it affects the neuromuscular system. Acetylcholine, which is the chemical that takes the signal from the brain to the muscles to tell them, to lift your arm or blink your eyes, it's blocked by the antibodies created by the immune system. It's mistaken as a threat. And so the immune system blocks it, which is what makes it an autoimmune disease. MG could be put into two categories. Either you have ocular MG, which affects the eyes, or you have generalized MG, which affects the entire body. With ocular MG, it affects your eyelids. You can have drooping eyelids, or you can have double vision, or you can have blurry vision. This is me when I was deep in it, and you could see my eyes couldn't open all the way, and my mouth isn't quite my mouth isn't quite straight, and I just couldn't control it at all. With generalized MG, which is what I have, it affects the eyes, but it also affects the mouth. You could have droopy mouth. Your fingers won't work, like you can't bend and unbend them. You can't lift your arms or your legs. Or your breathing muscles can be affected. A lot of people have trouble with that. The muscles to swallow your food can also be affected. I had extensive problems with that. It was very terrible. It's like you feel weak, but it's really just the signal being blocked. Like you have all your regular muscle mass, it just feels like you don't. The symptoms can be presented as just one thing, or they could present as everything at once. It affects everybody differently, every body part differently, and different groups of people differently. Myasthenia is statistically rare, but it can really affect anybody. According to a 2022 article by James F. Howard Jr., MD, about 20 out of every 100,000 people have MG. There are between 36,000 and 60,000 cases of MG in the US, and a lot of them are actually undiagnosed. There are believed to be about 700,000 worldwide. MG doesn't only affect one group of people. It can happen to anybody, any race, any age, any gender. It's more prevalent in women, and they tend to get diagnosed usually in their 20s or 30s, so a little bit younger. And men tend to get diagnosed when they're a little older, in their 50s and 60s. Children, especially those born of mothers with myasthenia gravis, can be diagnosed as early as birth. And they actually like to look out for it when they know you have it, if you're delivering a child. Different people experience the disease differently, and they also experience treatments differently. There are various treatments, but everyone won't work for everyone. So you have to experiment with it and see what works best for you. There are different medications, like pills you could take. Some of them enhance, the communication between the brain and the muscles, which is, I take mestinon, which is it enhances the communication between the brain and muscles. And I also take it with a corticosteroid, which is prednisone, and that inhibits the immune system, which reduces the production of antibodies. You also can take immunosuppressants, and they alter the immune system completely, but they could take a few months to work. You could have intravenous therapy, which is medicine through an IV. And they only last short term, usually just a few weeks, maybe 3 to 6 weeks. Plasmapheresis is one type, and it filters the blood, kind of like dialysis, but it removes the antibodies that block the signals from the brain to the muscles. IVIG, which is intravenous immunoglobulin, I had to take that. It introduces normal antibodies. It's actually derived from plasma from that people donate, and it usually lasts 3 to 6 weeks. And you can also have surgery. The surgery removes the thymus gland. The thymus gland is the center of the immune system, which is what creates the bad antibodies. And that usually works to help it, but a lot of the time you have to have the surgery coupled with any of the other types of medicines. It could be the intravenous therapy, could be the pills, it could be all of it together. It just depends on you and what you respond to. So MG is a very rare disease, but the effects of it are not rare at all. It affects multiple types of people. It's caused by the immune system attacking the body. It's incurable, but it can be treated in various ways. It can be very, very challenging to live with, but I am proof that it can be done. Thank you.